The SAVE Act was just passed in the U.S. House and it heads to the Senate for debate. But Leader John Thune, please nuke the filibuster so it can pass through the Senate quickly and it doesn't have any delay because of the Democrats, and it heads to President Trump's desk for signing because Democrats want to delay it. We need to nuke the filibuster so it doesn't get delayed and safe and secure elections can be had in the United States, because we don't want illegals voting and we don't want any other fraudulent elections anymore. We don't want to say the election was rigged anymore. We don't want to say that. We want to say the election was fair, and passing the SAVE Act and nuking the filibuster will do that. Okay? And former President Barack Obama said on X, Republicans are still trying to pass the SAVE Act, a bill that would make it harder to vote and disenfranchise millions of Americans. Okay, how? Mr. President, how? Because you didn't state how in your post. Because if you're going to say, okay, it disenfranchises women to vote, well, that's not true, right? Because you would be able to show your marriage certificate for married women, or if unmarried women, they won't need to, you know, worry about the birth certificate being invalid. So for the married woman, they can just show the marriage certificate with the photo ID and birth certificate. That's not a problem. So women, that's already settled. It doesn't disenfranchise women. How else would it disenfranchise millions of Americans? How? Are you talking about illegals? Oh wait, no, they're not Americans. Are you talking about people on visas or green cards? Oh wait, they're still not really American, are they? If they're naturalized citizens, then yeah, they would be allowed to vote because they're citizens, and they wouldn't be disenfranchised. So, in fact, the Save America Act actually protects um, naturalized citizens, okay, immigrants who became citizens in the elections. In no way does it disenfranchise anyone. In fact, it helps immigrants, illegal immigrants. It helps legal immigrants by having clear distinctions on who can vote. So please, President Obama, how does it disenfranchise millions of Americans? Tell me. Tell us. Tell America. Because you didn't say it in your post, so I assume that you don't have any evidence of that, because there isn't any evidence, because there isn't anything in the bill that disenfranchises millions of Americans to vote. So, Leader John Thune, please, 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 nuke the filibuster, get the SAVE Act passed onto President Trump's desk. In no way does the SAVE Act disenfranchise any American. No way. It protects Americans. It protects immigrants, too. It protects immigrants. Legal immigrants who became citizens. It protects them. It does. Okay, so it makes their vote. It makes their vote count, and it doesn't make their vote swim in a pool full of unvalid votes, right? So really, this should help Democrats' cause that protects immigrants, right? Which is also, by the way, the Republican cause to protect immigrants, to protect everyone here who does not commit a crime, who has American interests at heart, and who is, all in all a good person who following the law in the United States. That's the Republican cause. But obviously, America first, which means putting American citizens first, and putting our elections that protect our democracy, as Democrats say, but really, our country is a constitutional republic. And the founding fathers spoke negatively about the democracy, saying it leads to tyranny and all of that. But that's another story. But um, it protects elections, and if you want to call it a democracy, call it a democracy, even though it's not. But just call it whatever you want. It protects it. It protects the elections. So that's it. On the other news, 130,000 jobs were added in January, which is huge. Okay, job growth surged in January, according to Rapid Response on X, adding $130,000 total non-farm jobs and $172,000. Sorry, 172,000 private sector jobs, shattering expectations once again. The federal unemployment rate fell, wages grew, federal employment is now at its lowest level since 1966. And Democrats are saying the Trump economy is bad. No, it's not. It absolutely is not. Could it be better? Obviously. Obviously, it could be better. But in no way is it terrible. In no way is it disenfranchising Americans. In no way it's anything like that. So, that the sort of idea that Americans are, you know, a a type of gullible people is insulting. And that's what the Democrats are saying, right? And, you know, it shows when Democrats constantly keep lying and constantly keep diverting from the truth and what actually matters. Um, it, for example, they say Republicans are racist for the SAVE Act. They don't like women. Republicans are oppressive. And yet, we produce the the most pro-immigrant legislation which protects immigrants' votes in elections, and Democrats are saying that's against. How? What are the millions of Americans? Tell us, President Obama. Tell us. What are the millions of Americans that are getting disenfranchised? They didn't tell because there aren't. There aren't. This helps all Americans. Majority of Democrats actually support the Save America Act, but all except one Democrat voted against the Save America Act. So actually, the Democrats are going against their own constituents because they're going against the Save Act. But most Democrats actually support the Save Act. This is a bipartisan bill. This is not a partisan thing. This is not at all a partisan thing. Go shake your hand with your Democrat friend right now because they might as well actually support the Save America Act. It's only these politicians that are saying, "Hey, it's a racist thing," or it disenfranchises millions of Americans, which it doesn't, and it's not racist. All right, so don't listen to these politicians. These politicians are extremely divisive. Majority of Americans and Democrats think that the Save America Act is a good thing. And then these Democrat representatives vote against their constituents, except one Democrat. And they're saying all Democrats think that way. No, they don't. They don't. They don't. Absolutely not. Only the idiot Democrats that want to push propaganda and lies. And obviously, let's face it, that might be most Democrats, but in this case, I don't. It's a silent majority and a quiet minority and a louder minority because they don't want to. The quiet majority is scared to support something that's backed by Trump and is sponsored by Republicans, right? But they really shouldn't. If they want to reduce the divisiveness, they really shouldn't be afraid of that. It's a good thing. It's a really good thing. That's how you bridge the gap. It's a bipartisan thing. It's really good. Both sides can agree on pretty clearly that it's a good thing. Both sides. Also, what is Thomas Massey doing in the hearing, in the DOJ hearing? What is he doing? He might as well turn his political party to Democrat. Like it's insane. And also, he's acting like the Democrats in the hearing. The Democrats in the hearing are acting so immature. They're like high school kids in a cafeteria table arguing with each other. What is going on? What is going on? It's so immature. It is incredibly immature. There's a representative who said like literally their seating arrangements in the House is like like the theater class. It's like you have to claim these things. There's certain like teams you have to go. Like it's insane. What is going on? You have to be more professional than that in a government seat, in a government hearing. It really is about a serious topic. There needs to be some type of um push by their constituents to be like, okay, hey, you're making them look bad. You're making your constituents look bad by acting stupid. That's what the Democrats are doing. That's what Thomas Massey is doing. In fact, in Kentucky, if you look at the election, Donald Trump represents Kentucky better than Massey does. So it's I don't know what Massey is thinking. He used to be good on some things. Now he's kind of going with the Democrats. It's ridiculous. Everything needs to go in order. Everything needs to go in order. Pass the Save Act. I'm glad Thomas Massey at least voted for the Save Act. That's the one thing I can say that's good. Well, other than that, I don't know what he's doing. Um, so pass the Save Act, please, Leader John Thune. Do something about the filibuster. Um, things need to be in order. Save Act is a bipartisan thing. Majority of Americans, including Democrats, support it. Don't listen to the political division from the politicians. Okay, it's a bipartisan thing. Democrats and Republicans support it, and it's a good thing.